right, get some music turned off. Hey guys,
Yeah.
welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome everybody to Superhuman with Dr. B and uh, I always want to say Michael Phelps. I'm going to say it one time. Jason Phelps.
Yeah.
We're coming to you a little bit different today. We're coming to you from my clinic, Core Sports Health, and from Jason's home gym.
Yeah.
There's apparently some construction going on at the studio. We'll be back there pretty soon. But I kind of want to jump to it real quick because we have a few. I have a lot of notes today, and Jason. It'll just be Jason and I today as far as no guests, but we have a lot of great info. We have COVID updates, a few COVID updates, and then we have. I really want to start with. It's kind of backwards, but I want to kind of start with supplements and tips for immune health specifically. And then we'll jump into modifiable lifestyle factors to kind of help you make you more resilient to the virus. And then Jason's going to lay some home training ideas. And actually, my wife, is watching because she's like, I need to start working out again. I need to, I said, be on the show tomorrow. Jason will be, going over them. So real quick, I just want to go over a couple of quick updates on the COVID. So good news and bad news, right? Good news is that the overwhelming majority of people with COVID-19, you're just going to be just fine. Okay, 80% are asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic. About 20%, are going to get ill, have the fevers, have some issue, and then a few percentage of that, of those people are going to progress to need to be hospitalized shortly, or even progress in ICU or ventilators. We still don't know all the specifics, right? We're still learning. Everybody's in a learning process on it. The current CFR, what we call the case rate fatality. Okay, a lot of people have questions on that. Depending on what stats you look at, it's actually looking closer to 0.3 to 0.6 or 0.66, but this varies by the population. Okay, if you're elderly or have a chronic condition, coronavirus is going to affect you much worse. I mean, that's been shown. That's where the bad news is, guys. Okay. Chronic diseases like type 2 diabetes, obesity, heart disease, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, on and on and on, okay, now affect about 6 out of 10 Americans. Okay, that's the problem, is we kind of allowed ourselves with our sedentary lifestyle, our poor eating habits, to make us more susceptible to this virus hurting us the way it has, okay? 1 out of 2 Americans now are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. I mean, that's really, really sobering. So if you have diabetes or obese, that significantly increases your fatality risk. Obesity itself, the latest stats show you're 3 times higher to die from COVID if you're obese. Okay. And that's exactly why in Louisiana, we're seeing 7 times the death rate per capita than even New York City, because of the high amount of obese, in Louisiana. So basically, we're seeing a role of chronic disease. It's going to affect the immune system and the ability of the body's way to fight back against the virus. We need that innate immune system to be ready when that transition of the virus does occur. Okay, because understand, again, I'm going to say it over and over, this isn't the first and it's the last virus we're going to see. Okay, in COVID-19, the mechanism of action that kills people, it's not the virus itself. It's important to understand that. It's the overwhelming inflammatory response that happens in certain individuals. It increases oxidative stress, which then reduces our body's it increases like an energy deficit in our mitochondria. There's certain tools that we have available to us to help us address this proactively with ourselves, to make us more resilient and protect us from getting sick. But once we get sick, we can also use these things to help or enhance our recovery quicker, and so we can bounce back quicker. So we need to start looking at all this like immune response with a long-term perspective. Okay, again, it's not our first, and it's not going to be our last pandemic. Okay, so anything to add on that, Jason? I mean,
no,
I feel like
that's exactly what when we talked earlier this week, that's exactly what I was thinking. I guess my question to you is, as a medical provider, is, you tell people that obesity is such a strong factor in this. Where in your mind does that start to become a factor? That maybe we use BMI or body fat percentage to give people an idea so they can apply it to themselves.
Well, everybody's a little bit different, but we'll have to start with kind of the basics. And like I said, when I say it's backwards, it kind of is backwards, because I really would like to go over modifiable lifestyle factors and things like that. But as far as, there's really, like, to me, honestly, BMI is really, really flawed. And you know this, right? In all our athletes, right? So it's hard to really dig into a specific, hey, what what makes you obese, because like I'm actually obese by BMI.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a 30, but BMI is flawed in that it only looks at height and weight, and it doesn't take into account musculature. And you know this, and I know this, and there's been lots of studies on that. So we need to look at other things like waist to hip ratio. I mean, there's so many other things that we can look at, but honestly, I mean, I look at I like to look at DEXAs, because or body scans. Like I know you do the body scans. So I like to see the actual fat percentage, and even more so to me, I look at the VAT score, the visceral adipose tissue score. So I want to know how much visceral fat they have, because somebody can be skinny and they can have, like I had it the other day, they can have 6 pounds of visceral fat surrounding their organs. That's the one that causes the metabolic issues, the diabetes, and it's the hardest one to get rid of.
So how, if you are somebody at home right now listening to this, how would you say, okay, I don't know my numbers. I don't know where I'm at, and I don't know if I'm at a higher risk for this. What's my first step to take? It's probably to go get the DEXA scan.
Get the
DEXA. Where that does that kind of work.
Yeah, we do DEXA for $50. I mean, it's unheard of. I mean, it's $50, and it's you can come in and get a visceral score, lean body mass, things like that. So I would say you got to start with a baseline. You got to start with baseline numbers. So
absolutely.
Now again, the reason I want to start with supplements is because there's so many to get through, and there's so much like misinformation. I want to have the biggest hitters first, but understand, I'm going to say this with a caveat, right? Understand that supplements are just that. They should be supplementing a healthy diet. That being said, we do have a lot of malnutrition. So this is something that should stick with a lot of people, and this is going to shock a lot of people. In the United States, we're very, very, very malnourished. Okay. And what I mean by that is a lot of people in their head, when they picture somebody malnourished, they think of a skinny, bony person with, the typical picture we would see of African children. And that's not the case anymore. What we are is we're overfed, but malnourished, because a lot of people have, basically we're getting very, very few. We may be overweight and obese, but we have micronutrient deficiencies. That's like, we're having a lot of empty calories. Okay. So yes, it does start with a diet and nutrition, all that, but there's certain supplements that really, really, really need to be filled in. To answer a lot of people's question right off the bat, no, you're not wasting your money. Okay, a lot of people have told me, well, I heard it's just I have expensive pee. No, it's not. So I tell patients, like, well, then don't drink water, because then if you drink too much water, you're going to pee it out. So your body will use what it needs, and then pee will rest out. And you may be saturated in selenium or iodine, and you may pee out the excess, but we see it on labs. So yes, I can, and you've seen it too on labs afterwards. We'll see it on labs. So we see if they're deficient in B12, vitamin D, things like that, and we supplement them, their serum goes up. So yes, it does work. It does work. Now, that being said, certain supplements, they're already seeing, even in New York, you're hearing, some people in the hospitals using vitamin C, right? IV vitamin C. What are the rules of NAC or zinc? We're going to go through a lot of those. Okay. We need a way to lower the inflammation. Okay. That's what's going to kill people with COVID. Okay. It's the inflammatory, it's called a cytokine storm. Okay. And that's basically what happens. A lot of people think the virus kills you. It's not the virus. It's the response to the virus that kills you. Okay.
So that's cytokine storm, maybe a new term for a lot of people. Do you mind just kind of fleshing that out a bit?
So a cytokine storm is basically an overreaction of the immune system. Basically, the body senses that it's being attacked, so it starts releasing a lot of cytokines. Cytokines are certain components of, like, our white blood cells. Everybody, white blood cells attack certain things. There's different components of it. There's interleukin-6. There's NK, natural killer cell. Like, there's a whole slew of them, right? But basically, there's a over response of the immune system, and it causes basically like a storm. So the easiest way, and you'll like this, Jason. This is the easiest way I can visualize the virus to people. The virus is the COVID is like somebody that breaks into your house, eats all your food, paints on all the wall, draws it up, and just tears up the place. Has 10,000 babies that take over your house, and then moves on to the next house to do it over again. That's basically the easiest way you can think of a virus. Okay, the virus itself cannot replicate. Okay, it has to use our host human cell, inject its RNA, and then use our own machinery inside our cell to replicate, and then explode, and then spread to the next cell. Usually, our immune response tackles that if we have a healthy immune response. But again, like I said, the overwhelming majority of patients or people in the United States is already sick. Okay. And so we're not getting the right nutrients and things like that. So,
especially coming out of the wintertime, I know being the time of year that this has actually happened, vitamin D deficiency is something that we see so often. You mentioned that one just a second ago. Yeah. Just at that time of year where we're just coming out of where people had suppressed vitamin D for months on end because of lack of sunshine. So hopefully that is something, being that the sun's coming back out and it's springtime, hopefully that will help everybody kind of boost.
Help everybody. They need to get outside though. They need to get outside. But like I said, again, it's important for people to understand you don't die from the virus. The virus isn't the disease. You die from the massive inflammatory response. So we need to have a healthy immune system. We have to have certain things that help us modulate our immune system, and there are certain very, very easy supplements, that we can use. Before we go to break, I'm just going to touch on it real quick. That way, when we come back, we can start on the actual supplements. We finally got it. Look, it came in last night, so we've been waiting for this supplement. Myself, Dr. Justin Hogan from LV Wellness, and Dr. Chase Banks have really been, looking at this for a while. Understand, I'm really, really stress this was not brought out in response to the coronavirus. This is a supplement that was already out, and when we started looking at things, we're like, what can we use to improve the immune system? What can we use to help fight against the virus? This has already been on the market for about 6 years, and what it is, it's activated humic acid and L-lysine. Okay, both have a lot of studies in the NIH. We've looked at them over 50, 60 years. There are studies on it for H1N1, influenza A and B. It was being marketed for HSV 1 and 2, so herpes 1 and 2, which again, a lot of people know what causes a stress response usually is what triggers somebody's cold sores or HSV 1 and 2. But hepatitis B, it's been shown in studies for numerous viruses. So in the most simplest terms, what it does is it prevents the virus from attaching to the host human cell. Okay, so no viral attachment, no replication. No replication. So we start that process, and the easiest analogy I can leave with everybody is if you think of Velcro. If you think of Velcro and you have the hard loopy side and you have the soft felt side, okay? If I take a bunch of cotton or lint and I shove it in that loop side, and then I try to make it stick, like Velcro, it just slides off, it won't stick. That's basically what the Virafin does. And so for y'all that don't have it, we have it here available. We have it, it'll be 70 for the bottle, but we get 10% off for if people get 2 or more, and then we're giving 20% off to all first responders. Okay, so you can get it at either Core Sports Health at our clinic, you can get it at Dr. Hogan's LV Wellness in Magnolia, or you can get it at Dr. Chase Banks Finish First. We're going to keep it here before we launch it to everybody else. But yeah, so it's I think moving forward, it's going to be a very, very, very important daily supplement to add to the regimen, because flu season, it's coronavirus is a cold virus. Understand that. There's 4 other recognized coronaviruses. This is going to be the 5th recurring one. Okay, so we had SARS, we had MERS. Understand the difference with those. MERS and SARS, those are both basically animal to human transfer. That's what's been different with COVID. COVID is human to human. Okay, so this will be really effective. I think I'll be taking it. I'll be recommending it to patients. But we're up against the first break, and then we'll come back and start with all the supplements. See you all in a bit.
Turn on your glam today. The KNLY collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the KNLY lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit KNLY.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. JennaKlein.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Woodlands Prime Lending, offering business loan programs for all types of endeavors. Need a startup loan, equipment financing, or even a business line of credit? Woodlands Prime Lending offers a variety of commercial loans to help you get funded when you need it. Call 713-900-7170 or visit us on our website at woodlandsprimelending.com to schedule an appointment today. Getting a loan is easy with Woodlands Prime Lending.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Cupcakes and Bubbles, located at 26400 Kirkendall Road in Tomball, Texas. Cupcakes and Bubbles has the sweetest and most delicious cupcakes for the entire family. From chocolate raspberry, strawberry rhubars, cookies and cream, and the most popular among kids, the s'mores cupcake. Come and enjoy our cupcakes with a glass of your favorite bubbles. Visit www.cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Are you great with people? Do you have professional experience? 91.1 The Boss wants to interview you as a sponsorship promoter. Contact us today at 713-370-5051.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. And it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands. And I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. And we're just going to jump right to it. So the biggest question I get is on supplementation for immune system, and the one I've harped on for years and years and years, and Jason is also on board with it is the vitamin D. Vitamin D itself, understand people, it's not a vitamin. It's a very potent steroid hormone. It's an immune system modulator. It's not a booster, it's an immune system modulator. So it reduces the expression of, like what we talked about earlier, inflammatory cytokines. Okay, so all the bad stuff we don't, and it increases what we call macrophage function, which is a white blood cell. It's the things that come along, the white blood cell come along and eat the viruses, okay? Vitamin D stimulates expression of what we call potent antimicrobial peptides. Vitamin D is antipathogenic. Evidence suggests vitamin D supplementation may also prevent upper respiratory infections. So these are this is all like peer-reviewed data. There's a lot of it, there's a ton of it on vitamin D. Okay, from anywhere from sleep to we're just talking about it strictly from a immune modulating role. But I've had a lot of questions on these two things, on vitamin D and elderberry. There's stuff going on the internet viral that, don't use elderberry. Don't use, which is elderberry, Sambucus nigra. It's been used thousands of years for fever, for its antiviral properties.
Safely.
Safely. And vitamin D also. Understand that neither's true. I want y'all to use vitamin D and elderberry. Okay. Those two studies, they're two separate studies, but there's some obscure studies on vitamin D that were done 30 years ago that was done in cell cultures, and basically what the concerns were that it increased an inflammasome called IL, basically interleukin 1 beta, but it's theoretical, has never been seen clinically. Okay, so I want
we call that bad science, right?
Bad science, yeah, and it was just done in, like I said, in one study a long time ago, and it's never been seen in humans. So what vitamin D? It's one of these where the 4 to even 1,000 units a day of the amount in multivitamins is not enough. So we check it serum wise. Almost everybody, 80% of people coming in or higher have low vitamin D. I had one this morning for a patient that had 8. She had an 8. So the average range is 30 to 100, but ideally for protection, you want it in the 50 to 100 range. Okay, and that's where we kind of shoot for. But basically, you can check it, and it can actually mitigate the morbidity that we see, the illness from the COVID-19. So I recommend, if there's a clinical deficiency and I can see in blood, I always recommend 10,000 units for about 90 days, and then you can step down to 5. If anybody doesn't have blood work, you can safely take 5,000 a day. Okay. And then, that's what I recommend as far as the vitamin D. It's super important. Another one that you can take, and like we have one supplement that has vitamin A, D, and K in it. Vitamin A. Vitamin A is a micronutrient that's crucial, for maintaining vision, promoting growth, development, but it also protects the epithelium and the mucus integrity. So one of the things that you're seeing with people is that, they have the really bad ARDS, or the acute respiratory distress syndrome in the lungs. Vitamin A is really good. It's an anti-inflammation vitamin, has a critical role in enhancing the immune function. Vitamin A is involved in the development of the immune system and plays regulatory roles in cellular immune responses and humoral immune processes. So it regulates T helper cell. So I'm not going to bore everybody with the science of it, but it increases the immune system. Vitamin A in a study demonstrated therapeutic effect in the treatment of a ton of various infectious diseases. Okay. So what's the dosage? Anywhere from 10,000 to 25,000 IUs a day, and you'll have it. They'll say micrograms, but they'll always have underneath, how many IUs. And for increase, we understand most people are low, is about 10,000 to about 25,000 IUs a day. Okay, so minute on the low range. Vitamin C, there's another one. Everybody's hearing about vitamin C and zinc. Yes, vitamin C is very, very, very important. A lot of data on it, dating all the way back to Linus Pauling. But contributes to the immune defense, supports various cellular functions, innate and adaptive immune system. We go on and on and on. And like I said, we're using that. You're seeing that in New York, where they're using it for IV vitamin C. Now understand that I can't give you the amounts orally that I can give you through IV, and we do vitamin C, we do IV drips here. We've done them for years, but you can't give somebody the higher amounts of the vitamin C orally without giving them some kind of GI distress. There's like a tipping point, right? But the dosage that you can safely take about 1 to 3 grams a day, or about 1 to 3,000 a day. Some of the studies have even shown as low as like 500 milligrams have shown improvement, but 1 to 3 grams a day, and then you can get much higher doses with IV.
And for those of you who are doing some type of workouts right now, and those of you who are training through this, try and get that vitamin C in after your workout, because that's when it tends to be at its lowest point, is because you deplete it immediately during your workout.
Yep. And that's why anytime you jump in, you have just as much as far as on the micronutrient knowledge base, like jump in. Okay. Yeah. Zinc is a big one. Zinc is actually another one that a lot of people are using in the protocols with some of the COVID patients. I know the hydroxychloroquine and the chloroquine is getting a lot of play, but understand, and the azithromycin, but understand that in that concoction, a lot of people are also using vitamin C and zinc in that mix. Zinc also contributes to immune defense. It basically, zinc deficiency is actually, again, like I was talking about earlier, it's very, very, very common. Okay. Especially in populations most at risk for severe COVID-19 infections, so the people that are, have comorbidities, have chronic disease, and then the elderly, they generally have zinc deficiencies. Okay. It's been shown to reduce the risk of lower respiratory infections also, which may be it's super significant when it comes to COVID-19. Okay. The dosing I recommend is anywhere from like 30 to 60 milligrams a day. Okay. And you can do it in divided doses. So there's lots of different ways to get zinc. There's zinc acetate, citrate, picolinate, glycinate orally. You can see it. There's zinc gluconate in lozenges, but zinc in about 30 to 60 milligrams a day. The one I really like too is NAC, N-acetylcysteine. NAC is a precursor to glutathione. Okay, understand what glutathione is. Glutathione, we also talk about antioxidant. Glutathione is one of the most, if not the most potent antioxidant in the body. Okay. In other words, it reduces what we call ROS or reactive oxidative species, and that's kind of like free radicals. That's the easiest word. Like what people always hear is free radicals, right? NAC promotes the glutathione production, like I said, but it's been shown to be protective against people infected with influenza. Okay. This was really, really cool. It's in a little noticed 6-month clinical study. They enrolled 262 elderly subjects. Those receiving 600 milligrams of NAC twice daily, as opposed to those receiving a placebo, experienced significantly fewer influenza-like episodes and days of bed confinement. And this was in a nursing home that they did. So the dosing, 600 to 900 milligrams orally, BID, meaning twice a day. So you can take 600 twice a day, or up to 900 twice a day, depending. But going back to like there's a specific inflammasome, okay? You don't have to remember, but it's called NLRP3. Okay, a lot of people that geek out on the science will remember that and know that. NLRP3, if you think of inflammation as a domino, as cascade, like an inflammation cascade, NLRP3 is that first domino that needs to get tipped to start that inflammation cascade. So if we can prevent that first inflammasome, NLRP3, from being tipped, we can prevent a lot of the inflammation cascade. So one of the cool things is there's been a huge study and a big study, not just one, but a few. One of the drinks that I've been drinking for 4 years now, and it's exogenous ketones. There was a major landmark study in 2015 where they showed that exogenous ketone, BHB, beta hydroxybutyrate itself. Now you can get that through MCTs. You can get that through exogenous ketones, drinking it. You can get that through doing a strict ketogenic diet. But basically, the actual BHB, it's called ketone. It's a ketone called beta hydroxybutyrate. Actually inhibits NLRP3. Okay, so it actually will block NLRP3, so you don't get that first one from being tipped. The ones that I'm going to mention from this point on are going to be all things that have been shown clinically to prevent NLRP3, or actually help with that inflammasome or reduce it. The first one is quercetin or quercetin. A lot of people call it a different name, but that itself has been shown to have a lot of antiviral effects, especially against RNA viruses. Influenza and coronaviruses are RNA viruses, okay, as opposed to a DNA virus. DNA virus is like herpes virus. That's a DNA virus. Coronavirus and influenza virus, they're both RNA, okay. Quercetin has a pleiotropic role as an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, modulating signaling pathways that are associated with, basically they improve post-viral healing. Okay, so and it modulates the NLRP3 inflammasome. Okay, I recommend about 1 gram a day, twice a day, 1 gram PO twice a day. Okay. There's some that you can look up online. It's quercetin phytosome. If it's a quercetin phytosome, you can get in that phytosome form. It's 500 milligrams twice a day. Okay. A very common one that everybody's familiar with, curcumin. Okay. Curcumin has been shown to have, it specifically has studies on it where it modulates NLRP3 inflammasome, lowering that inflammation. And another study suggests that it can target COVID-19, its main protease or proteolytic protein enzyme, to reduce the viral replication. Okay, there's a study specifically on curcumin, and it shows where it can inhibit the viral replication. Okay, so not let it get out of hand. The dosing for curcumin, 500 to 1,000 milligrams twice a day. Okay, trying to see, we're up against, we're up against one more race. 12, we went quick. So we'll finish up with this, and then we'll get into the modifiable lifestyle factors, because I really want to get into the home training ideas that Jason has. Okay, so we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Could your business use more customers? Could your business use Could your business use more customers? Could your business use more online traffic? Sponsor with 91.1 The Boss radio station and let our multimedia radio station promote your business. Contact us.
Turn on your glam today. The Jenna Klein collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the Jenna Klein lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit jennaklein.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. jennaklein.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes.
Cupcakes and Bubbles, located at 26400 Kirkendall Road in Tomball, Texas. Cupcakes and Bubbles has the sweetest and most delicious cupcakes for the entire family. From chocolate raspberry, strawberry rhubars, cookies and cream, and the most popular among kids, the s'mores cupcake. Come and enjoy our cupcakes with a glass of your favorite bubbles. Visit www.cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. And it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands. And I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. We are going to carry along because I'm trying to finish with the supplements. I really want to get into the important meat of it, which is the lifestyle, modifiable lifestyle factors, which are going to be actually more important. The next one on the list for the supplements that I have is EGCG. Okay, it's a big word. It says it's basically it stands for epigallocatechin gallate, and what it is, it's a component in green tea. Okay. Now, it actually also modulates NLRP3. A lot of studies on it as far as preventing viral replication and things like that. But I want to really stress to people: do not take the EGCG pills. There's some reports of it being a little bit hepatotoxic at higher levels with taking the EGCG extract. So just drink some good quality green tea. Don't put a lot of sugar in it or any sugar in it. But about 3 to 4 cups of green tea a day if you can, and that'll really fill that void. Okay, resveratrol is one that you always hear about, coming from wine and things, but it's a naturally occurring polyphenol. Again, it's been shown to modulate NLRP3 inflammasome. And actually, there's a specific study on resveratrol where they used it, and it was very effective in vitro activity against the MERS virus. Okay, MERS was a Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome virus. That one was spread animal to human from camels. But unfortunately, you can't get enough of it from red wine. But you can have fun trying, I guess. But the dose for the resveratrol we recommend is about 100 to 150 milligrams a day. Okay, melatonin. This one's one that really, it really surprised. I believe in its effects, but There's actually a lot of information on it as far as the NLRP3 inflammasome also. It's kind of gone unnoticed by the COVID community, for research, but 2 recent published papers propose the use of melatonin as a therapeutic agent in the treatment of patients with COVID-19. Those are recent studies for specifically on COVID-19. 5 to 20 milligrams a day. Okay, it's way higher than most people take. We even recommend 10 milligrams, to most people, but anywhere from 5 to 20 is what the studies show. And you were saying something.
To be clear, should we spread that out, or should we do that at a certain time of day?
At night ideally. Otherwise, you might be kind of sleepy during the day. Melatonin is basically it's the darkness hormone. It's one of those hormones that we really pulse a lot of it at night, in the dark. So start lowering the lights. That's a modifiable factor that we'll talk about. Now, I'm sorry if I left some out. Those are the ones I'm leaving off with. Now, Jason and I were talking a lot about, we do believe in mushrooms. Like there's shiitake, there's lion's mane, there's chaga, there's reishi. There's a lot of these that help with the immune system. I recommend one it has a company that's called Life Cycle. There's a lot of really, really good ones. There's Four Sigmatic is a good company also. But mushrooms also can increase immune response. I know I'm going to leave. There's some great ones out that I'm going to leave out, but those are the easiest ones to get to right now. We even talked about there's a peptide that I'm going to lightly touch on that's kind of making the rounds. It's called thymosin alpha 1 or TA1. It's been shown to be a really, really potent immune modulator. We still need a lot more studies on that to see, but it's been showing a lot of promise. We've used it with some people with some autoimmune issues, with some immune dysfunction, and it works really, really well. But like I said, there's a lot of them. Again, I really want to move on. Do you have any, before we move on real quick, any ones that you? Okay.
No, that's good. Let's get into the lifestyle stuff.
Yeah, the lifestyle factors,
really gonna enjoy here,
because that's going to be the most important ones. And the main ones I have, we'll touch on a little bit on each one, is number 1, food and nutrition. Okay. And we'll kind of touch on why. The other one that I have specifically is stress reduction and management. Okay. Because that one is that itself, again, will increase your risk of either getting the virus, lowering your immune system, or how you'll, basically recover from it. The other one that I have is sleep. Okay, because we have to start prioritizing sleep, and then exercise and activity, and then we'll use that to kind of lead into that last segment with training. There's so much to go over on food, nutrition. I have like pages of notes and things like that. But the thing, and the lifestyle factor itself could be a whole show. But basically, right now, guys, is not the time to be eating refined and processed sugars. I mean, it's not. I see a lot of people at HEB wearing their mask, and that's great. But then I look in their basket, and it's full of junk. It's full of processed
Little Debbie's and all kinds of
Debbie's, this and that. And I understand the stress. A lot of people. This is a time that people are kind of eating their comfort foods. This is not the time to be eating a ton of mac and cheese and a ton of be eating a lot of just really, really processed foods. Because understand, and I'm not going to talk a lot on the nutrition, but understand this from a medical standpoint. Okay. And this kind of bring it home for some people in the ICU. Okay. My background was, heart surgery and being, around the CVICU, and in the CVICU, when you're intubated, you can't eat, right? So we have to feed you IV TPN. Okay. TPN is total parental nutrition. But the main thing that is going to dictate how that patient improves or gets worse is something you wouldn't even think about. We check their blood sugars. The more stable that we can keep their blood sugars, the better their immune response, the better they will recover. Okay. And that's one thing that always stuck with me. And it's like, we don't even think about it. It's kind of mindless when we eat, but literally right now is not the time to be eating a ton of sugar. Okay.
Spiking. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
How the spiking. So the processed sugars and things like that, guys, you're not getting fiber, from the white bread, or you're not getting, or whatever you think. I mean, there's a lot of hidden sugars in a lot of foods too.
And my wife would kill me if I didn't say this at this point. Right now, like we talked a little bit about earlier, this time of year, eat fruit. It's wonderful right now. If you're not buying fruit right now, it is the right time to buy pineapples and strawberries and
Yeah.
watermelon. This stuff is in season and it tastes amazing right now.
So I'm a big about fruit. I'm a big person of eating it in season. Not eat, and that's the thing is we eat it year round, and then that, you know, we weren't meant for that. But this is the time of growth. This is the time when we're supposed to be eating it. Okay. So that, and then, you know, like I said, there's eat plenty of like you were just saying. My 4 things is eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. You know, fermented vegetables and probiotic containing foods to help with gut barrier function. Okay. Reduce or avoid immune offenders such as added sugars, high glycemic foods, and processed carbs. Okay. For 3 reasons. They balance inflammatory pathways. Okay. Again, going back to the inflammation. Yes, your food will make your inflammation better or worse. Reduces oxidative stress and increases antioxidant levels. And it harmonizes the gut microbiome. Okay. So there's so many different things, and we could go into the specifics, but there was a specific data from Nurses Health Study that suggested that the inflammatory dietary pattern that has been identified is one that is high in sugar-sweetened soft drinks, refined grains, diet soft drinks, and processed meat. Therefore, reducing or remitting these foods that negatively impact the inflammatory cascade, such as those containing added sugars or trans fats, will lower the inflammatory burden. So in other words, it make you healthier. I mean, it just will.
So something like an easy change. Think about things that you're doing in your daily life. Moms out there, if you're giving your kids, say, a hot dog with a hot dog bun, some toppings on it, whatever else. Maybe think about doing, you know, a chicken with brown rice and some fruit, something like that. So you're still getting protein, you're still getting carbs, you still have something sweet, but at the same time, the immune response to that is so much easier for kids and for even for adults to manage. And that's really what we're talking about is making those kind of switches and changes.
And we could go on and on. Like I really want to, I think we're going to run out of time because we're up against the thing, and I do want to do the home training ideas because that's a big question I'm getting. But understand stress management, reduction and management. One of the easiest things I recommend to people is to do an app like Calm or Headspace. It really ties in also with sleep. I mean, I have a page after page on the benefits of sleep. But again, it's one of those where we have to start prioritizing our stress reduction and our sleep. We may just continue on with that modifiable lifestyle factor into the next show, just because I feel like it's that important, because there's so many notes. But want to do that. Want to do really prioritize sleep, and want to kind of give tips on sleep. I think we're gonna have to do that on the next show. Yeah, I'm looking at the time, and it's 12:43. But as far as any specific stress reduction techniques that you like to tell patients or clients?
Yeah, we really do. Monitoring your sleep is a big one. Making sure that you're getting enough sleep. Making sure that you're timing your carbs around your workouts. Getting them post-workout too to kind of get you into that parasympathetic state. One supplement that we add in post-workouts, glycine, just to kind of help you also kind of come down from that workout high and get into that relaxed state. Those are things that we really kind of push early on.
Yeah, 7. There's no real great number, but good quality sleep, sufficient quantity and quality, 7 to 8 hours. I have tons of notes on it, but I advise patients to practice good sleep hygiene, maintain consistent sleep hours, turn off screens, ensure that the room is cool, quiet, dark. My wife hates it because I like the room pitch dark, and she can't see anything when she gets up. But, set reminders to go to bed at a certain time. But it's super important. I mean, and there's so many studies on immune system and sleep. And again, a lot of people don't make the connection about food and how bad they sleep, or even like vitamin D and sleep. There's the patient that came in this morning with an 8. She's the main thing she's complaining about is she sleeps terrible. I've never seen anybody that's at a 20 or below on their vitamin D levels that they sleep well. They don't. It disrupts circadian rhythm. So it could be something as sleep. So a lot of the things that we've talked about today will kind of help with that sleep. And I'm gonna the next one I have is exercise as far as for immune system. So we're gonna go to break. It's 12:45. We're gonna go to the break, and when we come back, we'll go over that with all your home training ideas. So we'll be right back after this break.
Turn on your glam today. The KNLY collection is here, elaborated with natural products. Give yourself a compliment with our organic lip glosses in more than 15 shades. With the KNLY lip gloss collection, you can hydrate your lips and keep that glamorous look that you need. Turn on your glam. Visit KNLY.com. And don't forget our skincare collection with natural ingredients that will improve the skin's appearance and prevent visible signs of aging. We have everything you need to achieve smooth and vitalized skin. KNLY.com. Turn on your glam today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Woodlands Prime Lending, offering business loan programs for all types of endeavors. Need a startup loan, equipment financing, or even a business line of credit? Woodlands Prime Lending offers a variety of commercial loans to help you get funded when you need it. Call 713-900-7170 or visit us on our website at woodlandsprimelending.com to schedule an appointment today. Getting a loan is easy with Woodlands Prime Lending.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Cupcakes and Bubbles, located at 26400 Kirkendall Road in Tomball, Texas. Cupcakes and Bubbles has the sweetest and most delicious cupcakes for the entire family. From chocolate raspberry, strawberry rhubars, cookies and cream, and the most popular among kids, the s'mores cupcake. Come and enjoy our cupcakes with a glass of your favorite bubbles. Visit www.cupcakesandbubbles.com for the complete list of our delicious cupcakes. Order online through our webpage. DoorDash and Uber Eats is available too. Enjoy life's sweetest moments with Cupcakes and Bubbles.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
It started as a dream. When I was a little kid, I always wanted to have my own restaurant. And it was a dream that finally we had the opportunity to build it here in the Woodlands. And I'm so happy with it.
It's a really authentic Italian food. I try to maintain the most original possible. It's very important. Every day I make my fresh pasta.
Chi mangia bene, mangia italiano. Please come and visit us.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. And so what we've decided is that we're going to go over a lot of these modifiable lifestyle factors. And because there's so much information that's so important. Like Jason was saying, it'll still be relevant next week. So we're going to really do the whole show on it because it's that important, because it'll go over diet, nutrition, specifics, stress reduction and management. It'll go over exercise. It'll go over sleep and certain techniques. And exercise, and actually the last one that I told him we wouldn't even get to today would be the social factors and connection and that's effects on immune system. But you know, I know a lot of people really kind of tuned in also to see some of the exercise, the home training ideas. So I'm just going to kind of turn it over to Jason and let him, you know, give you some of his techniques and tips for it.
Awesome, thanks. So one thing I want to talk about real quick before we actually get into the physical part of it, or some of the goal setting you should be doing when it comes to your home training. You know, what are you actually trying to accomplish here, and how should you go about that? I think honestly, a good goal right now is just to be consistent. You know, doing something daily or most days is a good goal to have. You know, you shouldn't necessarily feel like you have to make improvements from where you were 3 months ago going to the gym every day if that was what you were doing. I mean, if you are being consistent in whatever training program you're doing better than most, and take that as a win, because that is a win. If you have the ability to train hard, at least a few times a week, you know, figure out what works best for you, what exercises you like doing, what variations, and do those. Really get good at the basics, you know, get good at, you know, working on your form. And do you have to do these crazy circuits where you're bouncing from place to place with no rest? And no, you can really take time to get good at stretching, get good at flexibility, making sure your form is absolutely spot on. in all of your exercises that you're doing. So those are the kind of goals that you can set right now and really actually get something accomplished, so that when things do open up and you are able to go back to a normal gym setting, you've improved in some areas, like shoulder flexibility and shoulder health, and those kind of things are going to make a huge difference when you do get back to where there's machines and weights, and and you've got your box where you can throw weights overhead, because most of us don't have the ability to do that at home, right? So I want to give everybody a little tour of what I've got here. Now, I can tell you that when this COVID-19 started, I never worked out at home, ever, at all. I went to one of the gyms here in the Woodlands pretty much every day. Never worked out at home. So in that time, I've been able to put together something here that is very functional for me. And I kind of wanted to give everybody a look around and see, what it is that we're doing in here. So I've got some tools, and I'm kind of going to start down here. So this here, I've got some Bowflex dumbbells, and you may have seen these online. There's ads for them everywhere. These are the Select Techs 552s, so they go everywhere from 5 pounds, and they adjust to 52.5 pounds on each one. So it's this was probably where the majority of my investment went in building a home gym, was to these dumbbells. I think you can find them for around $250 for the set. You take them out of the box and use them. You don't have to put them together or anything like that. It's great. In a set of dumbbells, you can do pretty much anything, right? So that's a very flexible piece of equipment. I've got, so what I have here, I've got some BFR bands. If you don't have BFR bands, that's a way where you can take a light load and make it really heavy and really difficult. I grabbed those on YouTube. They were about, I'm not on YouTube, on Amazon for roughly $9, I think. And that's a tool that I use daily. So what that does, blood flow restriction bands, cuts off blood flow to an extremity. So you can pump the blood down there, but it can't get back as easily. So it tends to fill and really work those veins and get that full hard pump from a lighter load, which I've
used those for a while. I use a Gobi Strong, so you can say a little bit more so too, and use Gobi Strong bands, and those, they have the pump on them, and you can raise them to the same amount of millimeter mercury each time. There's Olympic athletes, there's a lot of data on it, because the first question I get, isn't that bad? You block your blood. It's actually not. There's a lot of hormonal responses. You actually get a big testosterone and growth hormone release from using BFR bands after. So and basically what it allows you to do is basically the hypertrophic response to the growth of muscle without damaging the joint.
Exactly right.
Use lighter weights with just cool hacking.
It is a wonderful gym hack. BFR bands. I know that the ones you're talking about, I've seen out at the zoo, out on 2978. One of the trainers there, Sam Skipworth, I know he implements those with his clients, and they work great. I've tried them myself. Then I've got different bands, and these are, they're nothing special. I've got some different bands with handles on them, and that gives me the ability to do some different pulls, do different things for back that are really kind of difficult to do otherwise. Having those handles really makes a difference when you want to, pull on these bands. I've also got these Brett Contreras glute loops. I've got 2 different ones here. I've got a regular one and then a heavy duty one. Use those for a lot of leg exercises. Now, I'm a 260-pound ex-bodybuilder, and I use glute loops. No shame in it whatsoever, right? You don't have to be a bikini girl to put on glute loops and get some good solid glute work. Glutes are the largest muscle group in our lower body, in our entire body. So throwing those on really increases the intensity of a lot of the leg work I'm doing, whether it's lunges or squats or adductions, anything like that. We're going to throw those things on there and really add some intensity to them. And then my wife's favorite toy here is the jump rope. That's one, we have a speed rope in the garage. And for those of you who do a lot of CrossFit, I'm sure all you guys already have your rope. Use it. This is a great time to use it. You can do that anywhere. Just go out in your driveway and you can hop up and down. That one's great. I've got an Elite FTS band as well. So you'll see this one does not have handles, but it's also a little bit more dense band. So you can actually pull on it a lot harder and not worry about it snapping. I can throw it over my shoulders and put it under my feet and do squats with it. Believe it or not, I can do front squats, and I can tie it to one of my surfaces here in the garage, and I can pull on it really hard and really get a good workout with that band. I've also got a adjustable bench that I'm going to show you guys down here. This also comes from Bowflex, and it goes all the way from flat all the way up to 90 degrees. So we use this pretty regularly in every one of my workouts. I'll use this bench for something, whether it's for step ups or whether it's for back leg support on Bulgarian split squats or something like that. We use this bench an absolute ton, and it's very sturdy. Again, I think I got that on Amazon as well. And then when you look on the floor over here, you'll see I have this enormous yoga mat, right? So it's called a gorilla mat, and it's a 4x8 yoga mat. So for me, it's awesome. So that's the one thing I've always hated about yoga mats is I stick off the sides of it. You know, when I lay down flat, my shoulders are off the sides of the yoga mat. So it's not a whole lot of fun. So I found this gorilla mat, and I use it for all my stretching, and I use it to roll around on, and I do all my ab work on it. And in the middle of it there, I've got my ab mat, which is probably my favorite tool I've ever bought for ab training. And trust me, I've bought them all over the years. And all it is it's just a pad that fits under your lower back and gives you the ability to really target abdominal training. And I think it cost $16. And it's probably the best $16 I've ever spent on gym equipment.
You up, man.
I tell you what, it is fantastic. And not only that, but I feel like the flexibility I've gotten in my lower back and through my abs is unmatched from where I've ever had it from using that. And then I've got just a basic little floor mirror on the opposite wall to kind of help watch my form and make sure that I'm doing things correctly. And I think we grabbed that at Home Goods for $20 or something. So, you know, with the whole setup here, I can pretty much get through any type of training. And so when I set up my training programs, there's a couple of things that I try and do. I keep a notepad out here in the garage. And at the beginning, I write down my goal. What am I trying to accomplish that day? Well, it may be that I'm trying to get more of a metabolic type response. So in that case, I'm going to probably pack things in a little bit tighter, a little shorter, breaks in between. It might be a couple of circuits. It might be, you know, a couple different groups of exercises I work together. But I also plan what body parts I intend to really focus on as well. Whether it might just be a lower body, might be upper body, it might be a push type day or a pull type day. I set those things out in advance, and then I really just kind of plan my workout based on what I'm trying to accomplish. Do I plan out all my sets and plan out all my reps? No, I don't. You know, that's not something I think is important at this point. I think right now you're just trying to really stimulate the muscles that you're intending to work on, really push them hard. You know, are you going to be able to achieve failure with light weights and with bands? Probably not. You'd have to do an excessive amount of reps probably to get there. But it is something you can really focus on doing things correctly, and you can still focus on intensity. There's things you can do for intensity. You know, you can push yourself to where you're really working a muscle to its limit. You may not necessarily, you know, get motor, you know, failure from it, but you can get there and really get some good workouts put together pretty easily with just this basic stuff.
Well, I'm getting the we're out of time, and so we're going to come back next week, and we're going to do a lot of these modifiable lifestyle factor and go really in depth with them. But again, if y'all want to reach out to Jason and maybe write up a home program,
yes.
That'd be great. And you go, what is it, twcprep.com. And as far as us, you can come see us for any kind of health and wellness at Core Sports Health. And if you're looking to get some of the Biofen or any of these supplements, we have a lot of them here. But just, you know, we'll see you next week. You know, sorry we're out of time, but like we could talk and go over so much information. But we will catch you next week and tune back in, because we're going to go over those lifestyle factors that really increase your immune system. And thanks for showing up today, and hopefully we'll be back in the studio next week or soon. But thanks for being here, and y'all have a great weekend. I'll see y'all next week. Bye. Take care.
Be safe.